Third term for you, Brad. We'll come back to that issue of your third term. We have a question for that particular stance. Lwazi, in 2 minutes, what would you say is your opinion about your SRCs losing touch with their electorate, their constituents, the people who actually put them there?
First of all, SRCs were put there for a reason, to actually represent students, and without proper consultation with the student population, one cannot properly represent them without even knowing the material conditions on the ground. Therefore, I would like to warn against being the SRCs of Facebook and Twitter, and actually being on the ground and actually consulting with the students. Secondly, is that the student population has changed from being a mass-based student population to be one that operates in silos and one that operates out of touch to what our forefathers and what our mothers and fathers went under. So we found a situation where in the past, where student protests used to happen at this very same university that I'm saying is very apathetic. However, you must realize that students are politically apathetic, but however, they are not apathetic at large. So you have to target them in the language that they speak. You have to target them in the manner in which they operate. That is why we as an SRC at UCT, we started campaigns such as the C3 campaign, Complaints, Criticize, and Compliment, in which we actually go to the ground of each and every single student and try to target as many of our 26,000 students at UCT in order to get their input on policy matters, in order for them to actually have an effective change in the institutions that they're going under, that they're standing in.
Prof Seepe, let me bring you back to the discussion here. It's more often than not that we hear management accusing students of being vandals and unruly. Are students genuinely solely to blame for the unfortunate incidents of unrest and vandalism, or does the management have a serious role or actually implicated on this proceedings?
Well, my sense is that most of the crisis that we have at universities is also a crisis of leadership. And I think fundamentally it is also an intellectual crisis. When management cannot engage students intelligently and intellectually, it actually spawns the possibility of those students not accepting the level of dialogue in which management is. You need to be able to take your students with you, and it has been done elsewhere. But I also think that we do have mature students, because they don't become unnecessarily unreasonable. And if management also engages with the broader students, it might actually find that it can work quite well constructively with the SRCs. Actually, the SRC can assist the management to even understand the students' concerns. So if I were to just put about 5 issues that I think why the SRCs are important and why management must also pay attention to that. The first one is the issue of students' concerns, but also historically the students have also tried to also take other issues beyond the individual concerns, because any society becomes only dynamic when the young people of the society brings about the issues that are relevant for the time. Most of us represent the interests and perspectives that have almost been overtaken by developments. So management should take advantage of the young people in terms of understanding what is it that their concerns are. Secondly, the young people are likely to be the ones who are going to transform the institutions. Professors tend to repeat what they've been taught for the last 20 years, 30 years. But the young people who often graduate to unemployment should be able to bring those to the fore and should be able to demand that if you are at university, it makes no sense that half of you graduate to unemployment. That means that the curriculum that is there has become almost outdated. So they can serve as a resource that you need as a manager, as management. But what we tend to do is that if you have management that has never been involved in student issues, that management will not be able to engage the students because it does not have the necessary skills of engagement. So we make a mistake to think that people, once they get into management, they are going to transform themselves to what they have never been. There are no miracles in this country. You must be able to choose. If you have leadership, I mean, if you have to take the VCs that we have, how many of them are known to profess any ideas? And if you are bankrupt at the level of ideas, it will not be an accident that you will not be able to engage the students. So I do think that the student must be seen as a resource, but the students also participate in the appointment of vice chancellors. So they also must assume the blame for bringing about the type of VCs that they later confront with on a daily basis, because what it means that they have not done their work in making sure that they have people with requisite leadership to make sure that we take our country to the next level. But I do think the most important challenge that we have is that of making sure that we deal with the past. And that means the point that our colleague from the TUT was raising, that there must be a way in which we share the historical burden. It cannot be right that after having invested so much money in producing the UCTs, only the rich can go there, only the privileged. There must be a sharing of this burden. And the issue that have been toyed around is how do you make that possible so that we stop having a country of two nations, the rich and the poor. If we fail that, then the SRCs will have failed in ushering a new consciousness of a new South Africa. It cannot just be, we cannot be simply South Africa when we embrace each other in a sports field. We must be able to address the issues of class.
Well, strong comments coming there from Prof Sipho there. We're also on Facebook. Just to remind you, on social networks, we are Unisa Radio on Facebook. We are welcoming your comments that we'll be reading as the show proceeds. 10 minutes before the end of the show. Brad, you said that you've been elected, or you've been part of SRC now for the 3rd time. Let's talk about this issue. Student politicians are often labeled as so-called ancestors, or amadlozi, so to speak, as a result of their prolonged stay in schools. Apparently this is because you get comfortable with the life. Is this true to put forward? Are you comfortable with the life of leadership and therefore you want to stay there forever?
Very different. I did a few policy documents when I first started in the SRC, and I wanted to see them go through. It was comfort. I don't think being an SRC member is very comfortable. You don't have much of a social life. You lose a lot of friends. You don't really get reimbursed. Well, at Rhodes, yeah, we don't get any real reimbursements in terms of monetary advantages. But I mean, the kind of time that you give up, I'm quite surprised that I've managed to get my degrees on time, and I'm currently doing my masters. So I've actually got a lot more time to do SRC things. So I mean, just in terms of my context, it's worked out quite easily that I can still serve students while at the same time still be able to do my academics. And I think that's a very important thing to note. I mean, action they're taking becomes very, it gets a bit muddy in the water, So,
yeah.
Specifically in the presidential role. But at the same time, I still have a major problem with continuity.